Well. It's episode 2 of Open for Discussion, and I am like crazy excited for the guest that I have on here today. It is an old friend and a new friend that I just made, and I'm super excited about the conversation that we're going to have and the things we're going to talk about. And y'all get to just be a part of a conversation that we're going to be having about life. And with that said, we're going to hit this intro and we come back. We're going to have our special guest, Jay West, an up and coming rising author, bestseller on Amazon, Spencer LeGrande. So let's get it. Well. Oh, this does my heart good.
You see
it. Y'all just don't understand. Y'all just don't understand. So we have special guest, Queen Up Media in the building, Miss Jay West holding down the fort, and my man, up and coming Arthur, the best-selling Arthur. He's out here changing lives, is doing his things. I know him as Spence, but y'all know him as Spencer LeGrande.
Yes.
So, everybody. Family, what is going on? How y'all doing today?
First off, I want to commend you on your podcast, my brother. Episode 2. All right. And we are ready here with you. When I heard Maurice or Clarence or whatever we call you, I was like, I'm all with it. This is a brother of mine, always been there for me, prayed for me through the last 13, 14 years, always been my brother. It all started with you, man, to be honest with you. I remember when you gave me some inspiration.
And bless you. And I just met Jay. So let me give y'all a quick story of how we landed into this conversation.
Yes.
So, of course, he has a book coming out that we're going to talk about the book coming out. But so I seen it posted probably earlier this year, August maybe, and it was like, hey, it's coming out in December. I was like, yo, bro, can I get a book? He's like, yeah, I got you. And then I'm like, okay, I ain't get no book. So when I jumped back on, so I bought the book and I have the book and I read the book. And I'm like, okay, let me shoot him another message. I was like, yo, I need him to get on my podcast. So I shot him a message, and because of life is happening and we're all spinning plates and things are busy, I understand how the nature of the beast is. And didn't get no response. So I shot him another message. And he was like, hey, call Jay West and tell her that you're my brother. I stopped what I was doing immediately. Yes. I was in the middle of a project. I jumped on. I was like, hold up, right now? Let me get up off this phone and get out there and called her.
Right.
And then she called me back. And from that point on, like her and I connection was just like, boom. And I'm magnetic. Like, man. So I'm really, really excited that I get to talk to my little bro. To me, he's my little bro. Yes. But he's a grown man and everything. And I get to talk to his partner. She is a beast at what she does. And so
thank you.
That's how this podcast came on. And I am like mad excited, yo. Like I had to hold back the tears.
Right. I'm so excited. I'm telling you, Maurice, and I'm so happy that you and Spencer, your little bro, as you call him, are reconnecting. This is really an amazing time. And we always talk about timing. It's not in our time, it's in God's time.
For sure.
Okay, so let's just make that clear. But I want to reflect on something before we expound on this conversation. Psalms 25:9, that was placed in my heart this morning. And it talks about he leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble his way. You understand? His way, not our way. So what we're doing here and what Spencer's doing here is telling his story that was traumatic and how he turned that into triumph. And it's definitely about making things right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that's why we're here.
Man, I don't even know where to start. It's like gumbo. Well, so Spence,
Yes, my brother. How you
my
doing,
man.
man? Yeah, we got things
You know,
to talk
we
about.
met
We
when
are
you
on
was
assignment. Don't forget, we're on assignment. You already know that. God already ordained this
100,
years
100,
before we were made, my brother. Let's
100.
show them
So,
what we
Spence,
learned.
we met when you was a freshman in high school.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Freshman in high school, and he was playing basketball, and at that time he thought he could do something with me. I was just like, man, you too little.
He couldn't do nothing with you, Maurice.
Oh, Mo, I forgot all about that
I'm a
game,
grown
man.
man out here.
You just remind
We
me about
doing
that
grown man
game.
things out here on this court.
Let them know real quick, Mo, who was the only dunk in the game in front of the whole membership. It was one dunk in that game. Tell
Yeah,
them who it was, please.
you got it.
The first basket too on tip off. Let them know real
It
quick,
was.
please.
Was that on me? Did you dunk on
That
me?
wasn't on you. That wasn't on you. That was
Okay.
on Chris. It was on Chris with the dreads. I remember his face when he did like this.
And his dreads flopped up.
Listen,
Man.
man. You have good memory, my brother, because I forgot all about that. But man, you are being a good brother, my brother Maurice, and I watch your preaching every Sunday, man. Believe it or not, your I don't really do a lot of talking about it, but you have helped me get through my years, my brother. Just to let you know, and people don't show you
Man.
enough gratitude to say you're doing what you got to do. If you heal one person or a million people, it's the same to God.
Right.
You're doing your part, and when God sees you at those gates, He's gonna say those two words to you, my brother. I guarantee you. Well done.
I definitely appreciate that, and
Wow.
it blesses me honestly, because in this walk, sometimes even just in life in general, it can pull at you and tug at you, and you can start to kind of lose hope, but you know that there's a bigger purpose. Like you said, 1 or 1 million, it doesn't matter.
One
We
in
got
1 million, man.
to stay on assignment.
Yes.
And tell your wife I said hello. I love her
You know
still. I
what?
see
I
her.
thought she was gonna come down here because I
Listen,
told her I was
you
talking
know
to
the
you.
love is there. You know the love is there, my brother. And tell your son I say I see him. He's doing a
Hold on,
good
hold on. You
job.
see it?
Everybody, yeah, I see him. And you know my son. You know my son
I,
is doing well. Let me
I
start
was
there.
there when all that happened.
Let me start
Yeah.
there. I now, as of 2 weeks ago, have full custody of my son.
Oh wow!
Let me tell you,
Congratulations! You didn't
I
share
have
that
a
with me, Spence.
I know. It's things I only left for Maury. I had to give Mo some inside information first, man.
Oh,
I
bro,
am so
that is
happy to
so
have the
dope.
greatest baby mother, and she has said it is time for your son to live with you.
I love it.
And just a blessing, man, to have my son on his way to me, man. He'll be here on the 26th. I got his school ready to finish school, and I got him in real estate school. All that. I'm
That's
doing
what's
so
up.
much, and
That's
God is
what.
doing so much through me this year, man, that you couldn't even imagine, man. So
So
I
let's
pray.
talk about that with the
Right.
with social media and society and everything pushing that women should never give their sons up to their fathers. How big of an accomplishment do you think that is, across the
Listen,
board?
with me growing up without a father, let me tell you that's where it all starts in that household. We always have to know the importance of fatherhood
Mhm.
and your father being there, not just in parts of your life, but the entire part of your life. From nurturing as a baby to being there when you make mistakes, to showing
Mhm.
you how to get through those mistakes, and to show true redemption and whatever mistakes you make. So
Right.
you have to be there. Now, in my life, I had an absent father, which if you read my book, you will see how my father started off not there, but he ended as my best friend. And that's where forgiveness comes in. If you are growing up without a father, you
Mhm.
have to take a part and say, I'm taking responsibility to heal that,
Mhm.
because the
Right.
healing and forgiveness is not for them, it's for you.
Right.
And let me tell you, my forgiveness that I gave to my father led me to meeting my fiance.
Right.
That means my blessing came from forgiveness. So
Yes.
Preach
so
up
many
in
of you
here. Come
guys'
on.
blessings are on the cusp of right there breaking through because God's waiting on you to do something
Yes.
that you haven't done yet.
Right.
And I've
Man.
done that, and I've seen how this whole thing played out. And man, I'm telling you, I have Jay, what's to tell you? I have the most beautiful fiance in the world. And Jay, come on now.
Yes, she is very beautiful. But I
I
want to
see the
expound on
pictures
this
on Facebook.
conversation
I
as it
see.
relates to, first of all, congratulations to you for getting full custody of your son.
Yeah.
But let's really talk about it as a mother, as a woman, right? Even when you're not still in a relationship with the biological father, the co-parenting is very important. Let's just say that. However, at
For
a
sure.
certain point, like when my son turned 13, my son was 6'2". Okay, he was taller than me because I'm 5'7", and he was experiencing some things that I could not help him with. And I felt vulnerable. I felt like I wasn't doing the right thing. So I spoke with his father and asked him, listen, I've raised him until 12, 13. I need you to go ahead and take custody of him because I've never been a man. You've been a man. You know what that entails. You know what he needs at this juncture. But he unfortunately, he wasn't willing to do it. So I had to do my best, put on my big girl panties and buckle up these boots and do what I needed to do for my son. But I want to commend your child's mother for understanding that it was important to go ahead and give you that custody of him so that you can go ahead and continue to rear him because the next couple of years are really important and really going to be an impact in his life. So yeah, so that's great, Spencer. I'm so happy for you.
Absolutely.
You're a great
I
dad.
think that
And yes, your fiance is beautiful.
the maturity, the maturity level that it takes for the mother to release because the time invested is there, right? So you have the you have the potential to have an attachment disorder, right? But to understand that there are some pieces that comes from the male, from the father, that establishes some things in this world, in this society, for her to be like, hey, it's time, man. That's dope. I commend her. I respect her.
Right.
And she is definitely a trailblazer and a leader and an example to all these other women who want to use the kids as a weapon against the father.
Oh wow. Let's not talk
I, I,
about that, Maurice.
I can
That's so
really, when I got
frustrating.
some friends who
Wow.
the mother is using a weapon, using the child as a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not right, which is damaging the relationship. But man, I'm so excited. He's what, a senior this year? He'll be a senior, junior.
He's in 11th grade. He'll after June this semester's over. He will be a senior. So I
Okay.
got him in his last 6 months or few months of this year, and then next year he's going to finish high school. So I'm just super happy and proud of him. He even said, It's time for me to live with my dad," and he's
Wow.
happy about it. And
Mhm.
I told my baby mother, I said, "Listen, I can only do but so much. I'm a virtual dad. That's what I call myself. And as a virtual dad, you can do calls, you can send text messages, you can check on them,
Right.
and it's your part to support and send money. I'm proud to say, since my son was born till today, I've never missed a payment of me supporting him.
Right.
And that's something I'm proud of. So even if you don't have full custody or with your son, you still have a job to do.
Right.
You still
Sure.
have a job to do.
That's
Now you may
important.
not have
Absolutely.
that first leg, but you still have to call, check on him, show him you love you.
Mhm.
And then what happens is you explain to him,
Mhm.
what I did when he last visited before his mom released him to me. I had a talk with him. I said, "Son, this is where we are. Let me show you how having a kid early could affect your life. This is
Mhm.
what me and your mom talk about.
Mhm.
Read these messages.
Mhm.
You don't want that. you want
Right.
to you want to make sure that when you have a son, you with a woman you love, you like yourself, Clarence, like you doing like your fatherhood, which you've been there from the day one till
Mhm.
now. And
Wow.
I commend you for that
Mhm.
because you are an example of a good father, my brother. You are
Right.
an
Well, I
example of a
appreciate
good
it.
father, man, really.
Right.
And
And
that you
I had a good example. So I was a single. My dad was a single dad in the '80s, which was unheard of.
Right.
So for me to be raised by a single father in the '80s, I learned how to be a dad from my dad.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And if you see my son and you see us interact, you see the affection and the love and the attention and the hugs and the kisses, regardless of the age. But I'm excited for you, man. That's a new venture in your life, a new chapter that's going to be written.
Yep.
And he's going to be able to come and see the example, because that's important.
Yes.
That is important, that he sees the example. So my son sees a certain example that I set through how I engage with my wife, how I'm engaged in the community, how I do things, how I navigate, how I operate. He gets the chance to see it firsthand, and that's great. And you know another good thing about it, when your son encounters another man who's in authority, he won't reject it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That is definitely, that's a great point, Maurice. And I want to commend you both, gentlemen, Maurice, Spencer, for being great dads and being that example, so that when your sons are fathers, that they can carry that on. But I want to add that we can't negate that there are men who've been successfully raised by single mothers. We're not saying that a man can't be raised successfully and to go on and be somebody and make an impact in this world if he is raised by a single mother. All right, so we want to shout out to the single mothers, okay, and continue to do what you do. We understand your plight, your struggles. So Spencer, let's talk about what was missing, or what you felt was missing when you did have a father. You know, and like Maurice had a father figure, and like you said, Maurice, it was unheard of in the '80s for a single man to raise a son. That's very interesting. But Spencer, let's talk about what it meant, what it was like not having a father.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. My mom, and Mo, you know my mom, man. She is, she from Compton, my brother, Compton, and she was the mother and the father. So a lot of us have those moms and dads within the mom itself. I had one of those, and I'm telling you, my mom was is a strong woman. Yeah, see, she is a strong woman. So I had my support. I had an image of strength already showing me how to stand up for myself, how to have discernment, which is knowing right from wrong, how to stand up for the weak, how to, if you are weak, how to stand up for yourself. And I've been through all those things, and I give my mom all the credit, and my Lord and Savior. But my mom, the earthly, fleshly thanks, because she's the one who showed me physically what it is to stand up and be a man. So, but what I was missing was just the let me just say accountability. When I was growing up in high school, I was having fun. I was a basketball player, just doing all the bad things that you think,
Living wow.
And Mo's looking at it like this. He's saying, "Yeah, See, I was a popular guy. I was one of those guys in school, just cool with everybody, funny guy. You see this smile, hello, how y'all doing? I'm always energetic and loving, and always make people laugh, and but my accountability wasn't there when it comes to not having sex before marriage, and what God taught us not to do to have a prosperous life. I was all over the place. I was just having too much fun at a young age. Now, um, not having that accountability, affects you having kids early. It could cause a lot of things with your relationship with God, and things happen in your life that you may not be able to block. People may come into your life, and you may not know how to react to that thing. So it's a major and important part of being with your father. If you are a new father, be in your son's life. If you have a son that's older, get in your son's life right now. And for those like Mo who've been in their son's life, man, always remember you still have work to do. We'll never ever stop being a father. Even when your son turns 80 years old, you're gonna still be your father.
Right.
So
yeah, they still need you. Yes,
they still need you.
That's a fact.
There was a saying that I heard when I was younger. It said that, and a lot of people may not agree with it, but I live by this. It said you control them when they're younger, so that you can influence them when they're teenagers, and then you can lead them when they're adults.
There it is.
Oh wow, I love that. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Maurice. Yes.
And I live by it now. We have a great relationship. So you became a father at a young age. You were popular. You had swag. You had, you out here popping collars, looking good, walking it out.
Yeah.
And you have a brother who is my guy.
Yes. You know my brother, man.
Who's a total opposite of you.
Yeah.
Oh wow, the total opposite.
Total
Okay.
opposite, man. Oh my God, you won't believe
Total
it.
opposite
Yes.
of him.
Shout
Carrington
out to
is great.
Carrington
Um,
LeGrande, by the way, my big bro. I love you, man. You have always been my father figure, believe it or not, man. Even having an older brother, and that's in the book too. I put in there that my brother played a big father figure role in my life. I always looked up to him. I always
mhm.
asked questions of him. I always expected the right answer from him. And things happen, but that caused our relationship to separate because of some things that where I was getting pulled into that he wasn't pulled into. But my
Mhm.
brother is
Right.
the best big brother I ever had
He
in my
is.
life, man.
He's always been a good dude. Even during that time that you was getting pulled into some things that he wasn't. It never changed his. He never changed his approach. And let me give you a testimony about that. So so me and your brother, we've been talking for years, going back and forth. And he went off to college and he was going through all the world religious stuff. So he would always propose these crazy radical questions. And I'm like, okay, I'll answer them. So recently he posted another question, probably about 2 weeks ago. I jumped in and I responded to it. He responded to it. So we went back and forth. And then he posted a picture of him and this young lady. And he just smiling like the Kool-Aid man about to jump in the back, bust through the back of that picture, right? And so I shot him a message. I was like, bro, you look like crazy happy. He was
Yeah.
like, I am. This is my sweetie. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, I was like, just make sure I get an invite to the big day so I can pull up. And he said, hey man, I might need you to marry us.
Wow. Wow.
That's yeah. Vivian is a good woman, man. He's definitely happy with her, man. She's been good to him, and I commend both of them, man. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping he does it first before I do, because
But listen to this. I just had an idea, Spencer. When you propose to Maurice, and when Maurice, Lord have mercy. When you propose to Maurice, let's get Maurice to officiate. How about that?
man, listen. Hey, it's all about the cost at that point. I ain't gonna lie to you. If Mo blessed me, man, with a good price, I got him.
Hey, yo, hey, my price
Come
for
on now, you
you,
know he gonna work with you.
hey, my price for you, we'll talk offline, but it starts with an F and it ends with an E.
Ooh. All right, y'all heard this
Y'all
on
heard
the on the
him.
second
Y'all
the
Yeah.
second podcast
Hey,
episode.
open discussion.
I'm going back to it
y'all
if
hear
that
it.
price goes up.
Right.
So
Got
yesterday's
this
price ain't
as
today's
evidence.
price. Hey, so in your journey, you get out of high school and you start moving, and in your 20s, what was going through your mind in your 20s? Like right after high school, you had some decisions you had to make. You had some things that you had to face. You had, you're a young father at
Yep.
that point. What were some of the challenges that you faced as transitioning out of high school and moving into that next phase of your life?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was a early father, and 18 years old with the son. No money, no job. All I had was family. Rely and love your family, people. My family on both sides, my side and the mother side, stood there and said, Spencer, you're not going to abort this baby. Do not abort this baby. It is we're gonna be here for you, and I applaud my family and her family for that, standing up. I went off to college. She went off to college, but you know what they did? They took the control and said, "We're gonna take care of your son for you while y'all in college. Send some money if you can. Do this what you can, but we're gonna be here for you." And that's what a lot of people need, is just support, man. Support,
Right.
support. And going through that, I had to leave my son behind. I went to Bible school. People don't know that I actually went to theology school to learn about Jesus Christ. I
Did
was in
you?
there
I did
every
not know
day.
you went to theology school.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
it's like I
Wow.
went to theology school, had a full scholarship. I'm not gonna tell you who gave me that scholarship, but it was a full scholarship. But
Well, it was paid for by
Hey,
somebody,
free
and
college is
power
free
was
college.
wealthy enough
I don't care
to
how you
continue.
pay.
but I
How
just
that?
thank God that I got that spiritual lesson, because I learned a lot about God and who He was, and just the right way to learn about Him. Coming from a school with who's teaching about God is definitely I would recommend that to anyone who is a believer in God. You go to a school to learn about Him because you want God to show you approve.
Mm.
You want God to show you approve, man. And he when He sees my story, He gonna say, man, you wasn't joking. You did what you had to do while you were here. And these are the words coming out of all those things I've been through, man. You hear this voice of mine. It's not me. This is my spiritual voice, man. I'm here because um my faith has been tested and I've won that test. And I'm just here to give back and try to help people. But man, that time in my life was, when you look back at it as an adult, you say, I don't know how I got through that.
Hmm.
You look back and say, I don't know what I was thinking, or just it was just such a testy moment to see what you would do in situations like that. And thank God that I made it through. And it's really
Right.
just that, just thank God as you look back, I made it through. And
Right.
at that point I was just learning and comparing what I was learning to the school, and at that point it just became a part of who I am today.
Right.
Okay, so here's a question in reference to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being a young Christian male
Mm-hmm.
with swag.
Don't forget the swag.
I'm just saying because I got saved at 26, so I was at the peak of my swagness. So
Talk about it.
so uh, what was the battles like internally that you were seeing, like people saying one thing and living another in this Christian world? Because I know for me, when I was really seeking God before I got saved, I was trying to find somebody who was consistent, and I didn't
Mm.
see that person. I didn't have somebody who was consistent because the cats that was trying to mentor me was at the club with me the night before. Don't mean that they couldn't be
Wow.
mentors,
Mhm.
but when you doing the same thing I'm doing and you doing it just as much as I'm doing it,
Yes.
I don't think that works. So what was the conflict that you was having when it was time, when sometimes in this walk that you were walking and maybe you stepped away from God and went over there and
That's
did some.
that's the answer right there. I had a talk with God one time, and it was a part of my life was I was at my lowest, and I'm not gonna get into that, but my lowest time, I looked at God and said, Lord, I am mad at you. I'm upset with you. I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna praise you. You're not
Mhm.
present right now, and I wasn't trying to be hear from him. I'm like, what I've went through in my life, you let happen, and I blame you. So
Mhm.
I'm at this point, I'm just trying to do everything I can to get over my hurt. I went off to the wilderness, my brother. That's all I can say. I went to the
Uh,
wilderness. I didn't do like Jesus did and overcame his 40 days, 40 nights in the wilderness and came back with the kingdom to the keys to the heaven. I I went in the wilderness and I made a tent and I was okay with the wilderness.
Wow.
And
absolutely.
Wow. Mhm.
God somehow brought me back through my testimony and said, you know what? At least your heart is still good. And my heart has always been a good heart. That's what I think when we pass away, he's going to judge us by our hearts.
Yes, and he sees that
It's
your
not,
heart was still
yeah,
good.
it's not about what you say in this world. It's not about what you preach. It's
Mhm.
about this. This is your testimony right here. What you
Right.
really are saying without saying it. What you're really thinking without thinking it. He knows this. He
Yes.
doesn't know this. He doesn't hear with this. He hears with this. So as long as this is
Good.
right, you're gonna be all right with God. And there's nothing you have to do to prove to him that he loves you or you love him. This is all he needs to know. And that's the answer, man. When I was in my wilderness, man, I came back to him. I had my questions answered. He protected me, man. Let me just tell you this. God protected me. And that's one of the biggest things in my eyes that I've seen is protection from God. Even when you resent God, he's still there. He doesn't run away from you. You may run away from him, just like Adam did, but he was there. Where are you, Adam?
Wow.
Right.
Adam ain't say, where are you, God?
Mhm.
Right.
God said, where are you, Adam? And that means he's there with you even when you sin,
Wow.
even when you have those problems or those issues in your life. He's gonna always be there. So I'm just trying to give that back to you guys, man. Somebody who fought and survived and just want to give back love and peace and reestablish who God is in this world.
Right.
Don't let what's going on in the world right now hinder your relationship with God. It's not about religion, it's
Right.
relationship.
Yes.
Relationship. You are
Relationship.
absolutely right. So in this wilderness, and then I ain't gonna harp on this wilderness, but when you go off into be the prodigal, and then you come to yourself, and you in the pig pen, and you look at it, you like, man, okay, like I am out here with the pigs eating
Wow.
leftovers. And
Hey,
here's the challenge though. The same path that you walked to get to that place, you have to walk out of that path. You got to pass all the creature features that you walk past, all the flashy stuff, getting back on to going back home. And it's
Right.
easy to
mm-hmm.
get sidetracked and caught up in being distracted by the stuff as you're going back home.
Yep.
Right.
Look at your
So in that
spiritual.
process,
Mm-hmm.
you I'm pretty sure there was some, and I know this, but I'm like, how did you learn to forgive yourself?
Well,
Ah,
well, I looked at my lows, and I want you to do the same thing. Look at your life and just think about where you've been. And everybody has that where you've been moment and your lows in your life. And then open your eyes or think, look at you now. It's been a lot of things I've learned, and it's about being open and listening and hearing God's voice. And I've really just learned so much, man, about myself, just going through life. Just God would never put you through something though that you can't handle.
right.
So He put me here, He placed me here just for this moment, and for these moments, so He knew I would overcome them. He knew I was strong enough to get through it. So is what you do with that after you go through it is what matters. A lot of people in our previous generation, what they do is they go through things and don't teach the next generation. That's what the problem is going on in this world.
Right.
I want to stand up and help the next generation. I don't care if this is my last day on earth. At least God say, man, that boy right there, he's trying. He's
Mhm.
giving that word. He's speaking. No one wants to be in my shoes.
Right.
I don't recommend my shoes on anybody's feet.
Right.
But
Right.
since I am in my shoes, I'm going to use my testimony for good and
Right.
try to help
And
people, just like you are,
he
Clarence, just
graced
like
you
you
to
are, Jay
walk in your
West,
shoes.
in my shoes.
Right.
And they may be Payless shoes, but hey, they ain't Jordans. They
But listen,
Payless, but hey,
But here's the thing:
These Shaquille O'Neals are
somebody
looking
that
good
don't
on my
have those
feet, and I'm
shoes,
still rocking them.
but
right?
listen, Spencer, but the shoes that you wear are only for you, just like Cinderella. They had to find Cinderella because the only
They had to
shoe
find me.
would only fit her. So your shoes are just for you,
Right.
just like your experience is just for you. And God allowed you to go through that in order for you to do just like what you said, to change lives, to help people to heal, to connect with people, to build the community back up. Because you've been through a lot, Spencer. And I commend you for overcoming that and turning your tragedy into triumph. Right. And that's why we're here
Absolutely.
to elevate the community. And the community needs to heal. There's so much happening in the community. So we can't let's not ignore the book that you've written, the amazing best-selling book on Amazon, Forsaken the Long Road, with a subtitle above all, Never Lie to Yourself. All right, because that's about your story, and you are very resilient and you've been obedient. So that's why God has continued to bless you and allowing us to talk to people like Maurice and to bring the message to the forefront.
Man,
Amen.
like you said it all, like that. Your journey is already written in a book in chapters, which is only one book. There's still more books to be written.
Mhm.
So when you got to this place where you said, you know what, I think I wanna. Oh no, I got something. It just popped up in my head. Two things just popped up in my head.
Let's
Two
go.
things.
I
The
miss
first
that
thing
about you, man.
is
I miss this mode, man. I remember this mode right here. Well, let me hold on one second. Let me.
so the first thing is uh, you remember when you played Jesus.
Ooh,
Mm.
yes,
So let
sir.
me just give you the backstory. We've used a lot of illustrations
Mhm.
in the ministry that we were in.
Mhm.
And somebody got called to play Jesus.
Yep, and I didn't want to play the part. I got called, like he said. Don't
Wow.
understand that. The person right before, one day before, almost I think 1 or 2 days before, canceled before
Yep.
Easter,
Mm.
Yep.
and I had 2 days to learn all the parts, all the words to remember, all the acting, and they said, what they say? Call Spencer, he'll do
Cause
it.
Those who are called.
Many
That's
are
all I'm gonna
called,
say.
few are chosen.
Many,
we
many
had
are
a
called.
conversation when he was
Thank you.
playing Jesus. So I said, now you understand everybody that's called to play Jesus, life changed.
Yep, he told me
If
that.
you
Yep.
look at everybody that played Jesus in a movie, their life have not been the same since playing Jesus.
Wow.
Did you experience that?
My brother. All I have to say is, yes, I have experienced that. I'm gonna tell you guys on this live podcast. I'm not gonna say don't play Jesus, but don't play Jesus. Don't play with Jesus.
Right. Don't play with
Don't
Jesus.
play with Jesus.
Okay.
That'd be better.
Because we
Don't
ain't playing.
and playing Jesus, playing Jesus could mean playing with Jesus. So and I would just say from that play, I have I have seen things after that play that I wish on no person. Just the evilness of the world, just things going through the same things that Jesus been through. Now, what I will say though is at that moment I played Jesus when I was getting sent to the cross.
Mm.
I saw the audience.
Mhm.
Everybody was there, but for a minute, maybe a minute,
Mhm.
everything turned black. And all I
Wow.
saw was Benjamin. I don't know if y'all know who Benjamin is from, but Big Ben from Charlotte. He played one of the soldiers who beat me up and throwing rocks at me.
Mhm.
All I could see
Yeah.
was this man's foot on my neck and throwing rocks, and I just forgot I was playing.
Mm.
I was like, Jesus showed me this is what I went through. This is where you were. This is where I was on the cross,
Mhm.
and I could not believe that. Looking back at that so much from that playing Jesus happened in my life.
Mm.
So much of that walking to the cross,
Mhm.
that same feeling you get when you're trying to do so good and try to tell people, try to help people, but you're
Mhm.
still getting rocks thrown at you.
Wow.
You're still getting crucified,
Yeah.
even for doing good things, even
Right.
for trying to help and heal people. I'm going to still be crucified. I'm going to
Mhm.
still get rocks thrown at me. People are going to still spit on me.
Yeah.
But I believe in a higher power, and I believe in heavenly rewards, not earthly.
Mhm.
Man.
My ascension is in heaven. I'm looking for the next, just to go to God with my heart and my testimony and say, here, I'm happy to see you. I'm not afraid.
Right.
Right.
I'm not afraid. I'm
Mhm.
so ready. I'm so ready, man.
Right.
And it's like I'm prepared.
Yes.
And he's forgiven me for my sins. And what I want to do,
Right.
and my journey has taught me was you got to start forgiving people like Jesus forgives you for your sins.
Yes.
Because you can't halfway forgive somebody if you expect Jesus to fully forgive you. It
Right.
doesn't work like that. When you
Right.
move on and show the work of God through you, we're supposed to be the mirror image. So let's do the same thing that he's doing for us to others. Let's forgive, let's love, let's forget about that. Let's move on past that.
Mhm.
Let's bring the community back together.
Mhm.
And that's more important than showing pain, showing trauma, bringing up the past.
Mhm.
Look, this is about
Yes.
upward movement,
Yes.
queening up,
Exactly.
kinging
Clean
up.
it up.
King up. Yes.
And this is
Yeah.
really what it is. And Mo, man, listen, all this has been taught from you, from my Charlotte pastor, which I love to death. And you won't believe that. I just want to give him a shout out, but I'm just gonna say it's my Charlotte pastor, man. I love you still, man, and I just hope this reaches you one day and just say, man, all who I am today, you played a big part of, and I just want to say I love you, man. And I thank you for
Yes.
all the things I've been taught from you, as from my mother,
Mhm.
just from the family in Charlotte I had there, man. We
Mhm.
we, we were a good team, my brother. You
We
cannot
were.
tell me, Mo, that we didn't have the best experience there, man.
Mhm.
Hey,
Listen.
this is about you. I have a whole nother story about my story with leaving that.
Well,
I
my
actually,
story
so I
there
think one of
was
my
amazing.
future,
My Charlotte story was a blessing, man. My
you
Charlotte
know,
story was
one
a
of my
blessing.
future podcasts is going to be hurt by the church, the recovery, the forgiveness, and the reestablishment of yourself. So I'm working on that. So that's a future episode.
Okay.
But you said something when you said forgiveness.
Mm.
You had to learn it the hard way. Just throughout life, you know, broken relationships, broken trust. Started off with your dad. Started off with maybe a girlfriend somewhere.
Mhm.
All these things when we're talking about forgiveness,
Mhm.
that is not something that you can just check off a list, depending on how deep the wound is.
Mm.
It's an event. It's a
Mhm.
process, and
Hmm.
you have to be able to dig deep to let that stuff go. And I can see in your eyes, I see you're not carrying the weight. I see
Mhm.
that you are free from that.
Yes.
And when we before we got on, you said something else that was key. You said forgiveness is not for them. So you
Right.
said that, and I can see that you carry that. I see the way that you move. I see how you speak. I
Mhm.
think, man, I commend you for that because I still know people who are still locked into that time frame.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And what
Oh yeah.
unforgiveness does is it locks you in a time frame and it tortures you of memories, causing you to relive that moment over and over again, never being able to move forward. So
Right.
to see you have broke that chain and you are able to move forward. And this is something that we don't get to even see is generational. So had you not forgiven, you would have passed that on to your son some kind of
Yep.
way
Right.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's a generational transfer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and not forgiving it. Like I told you, I met my fiance based off of forgiving my father.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna tell you that story real quick. I
Yeah, let's talk about
was
that.
Let
Let's
me
talk
tell you,
about
it's
the
in the
love of
book
your
too.
life.
It's in the book. It's a part of the scene in the book. But one day I called my father. I said, "Look, you haven't been in my life for the last 27 years.
Mhm.
I love you though. Let me fly you down to Miami. Let's go on a cruise together, me and you. I'm paying for everything. I'm gonna fly you down, and I'm going to get to know who my dad is." He flew down crying. The whole family that he called, "Hey, Spencer just did this for me." Oh my God, I'm so proud of him. That's what he was saying. He said he was tearing up. So long story short, he flew down, and I'm very, very popular with some big people in Miami. So I go to the club, Spencer, man, hey, welcome in. Hey, y'all leave Spencer alone. This VIP, get these bottles over here for you. Spence 10 bottles, get all the ladies to sit at your table. Okay, no problem. So I walked in and I saw this beautiful, oh my God, the most beautiful person I ever seen in my life. And I saw her smile, her cheekbones. I'm just like, look, I got 10 girls at my table, but this girl right here, Dad, I said, Dad, do me a favor. I said, I'll forgive you for all these last 27 years. If you just go to that girl and bring her back to me, man. That's the one. He said, which one? The one we saw earlier? I said, yep, that one I saw, that's the one. I said, that's the one right there. And he went over there, he took a little shot. He said, I'll take that offer, son. She was buying a drink at the bar, and she already ordered it. And he went over to her and said, "Listen, my son said if I can get you back over this table to get some drinks with us, you can save $20 right here. Also, you will do a big favor for me and get me back with my son." She canceled the order, saved her $20, and walked over to me, man. Let me tell you, every 10 of those girls disappeared.
Mhm.
All I saw was me and her. All the girls looking at me like mad at me. Hey man, you ain't looking at me no more. I'm like, listen, you ain't even there no more.
Wow.
So long story short, again, uh, because of that forgiveness
Mhm.
that I gave and showed to my dad,
Mhm.
God gave me a blessing that was blocked, that I was praying for. I
Mhm.
was always praying to God, Lord, give me a light skin, long hair, nice body. And you got to be specific with your prayers
You
too.
were specific.
I
The
was in the
checklist.
shower praying to God, I want this. I want my girl like this. And this is
Wow.
way before I went to Miami. So he
Wow.
was like, I said, I want this, this, and this. Now, when he brought her to me, I got a number and I went on a cruise and all I could do was call her and text her. I didn't even want to go on a cruise anymore. I was ready to come back to Miami.
Wow.
So when I got back, we met up and we've been dating ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has it been?
It's been 5 years, going on 6 in April. April 12th has been our anniversary. So
Okay.
so maybe soon I'm gonna pop that question, but she is definitely my angel. I mean, the sweetest person you ever meet in your life, man. And that blessing was given to me because of my forgiveness.
Right.
So a lot of you guys who on this podcast, this live, are having blocked blessings because of your forgiveness. You're not letting something go that you're waking up with every morning, that you're going to sleep with every night. You have to sometimes break those chains
Mhm.
so God can bless you for what you want, what you're praying for.
Right.
Your life right now is the way it is because of blocked blessings and because you're not forgiving or letting go things that are blocking your blessings.
Right,
So
right. So we
Ooh-wee.
encourage you to unblock your blessings, forgive those who have done you wrong, who you feel have betrayed you, whatever the case may be. Forgiveness is definitely the key. Yes.
Oh boy, that'll preach right there. That I'm just gonna check my calendar and I'm gonna get you on. I'm pulling you preaching February, March, April, May, sometime this year for
Right.
sure.
You got to get him.
listen,
That
man,
is
listen, y'all. You
man,
taught me this,
that
Mo.
is
I learned this over the years, man. And don't ever think. I told you. I watch your podcast. I watch your preaching moments every day. You may think you're not affecting people's lives, but you are, man.
Yes.
You are doing everything God called you to do. You have to take full pride in that. And remember, Jesus had a little circle. He didn't roll with the mega. He didn't
right,
roll with millions. He could have, but he
right.
Right.
chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look at yourself as, you know what? I'm doing God's will. This is God's will. I
Mm-hmm.
may not have $1 million for coming in and $1 billion coming in for every week. That's not important.
Right.
These
It's
earthly
not
rewards are not important. They are temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And
for
sometimes
sure.
God gives more to people around you because the devil knows if I keep them with all this stuff, I can distract them long
Right.
enough until the time's up.
Yep.
Right.
I can
Stop
And
playing.
manipulate them.
we are
Stop playing.
my wife and I. We in our 50s. Stuff we don't pursue that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the stuff. Real quick, I gotta plug my laptop in. I'm sorry.
No,
I'll
it's
edit
okay,
all this
man.
out.
Everybody needs a power source. Don't worry, we understand.
Oh,
There's a
I'm telling you.
testimony in everything you do, man. Listen.
Exactly.
So I see you have this awesome woman sitting at the top, Queen Up Media, Miss J West.
Yes.
How did y'all connect?
Okay. His phone. Okay.
I got it. How do we meet?
Yeah.
So ask the question one more time. So I think my phone went out and went back in. Just ask her the same question one more time.
We have Miss J West up here, Queen Media. How did y'all meet?
Yeah. Queen Up Media.
Queen Up Media. I'm sorry. Yes, Queen Up Media.
Yes.
So how do we meet, Jay West? Are you asking me or are you
He's
asking Jay
asking you.
West?
He's asking you.
I'm
How do you meet?
asking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Jay West like, okay, Jay. Oh, well, let me tell you. Me and Jay West met through a very good friend of mine in Miami. His name is Ed, and when I say the Colonel of Miami, he was one of the first black police officers in the Miami Gardens. Uh, uh, Growing up, he was the
I think
first
it's
black
Miami Shores. The
Miami
first black
Shores.
police officer in Miami Shores.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I moved to Miami, and this man has heard about my story and said, "You know what, Spence? I'm gonna stand with you, brother." And the whole time since 5 to 6, 7 years ago till today, he has been helping me develop this book, man. And he gets a lot of credit for just helping me and answering questions. This guy owns a security company, had me with people around me, protecting me, just making sure I was okay. And he didn't even know me. So from that, I want to say this: I've got a lot of protection from people who I didn't even know.
Mm.
I've got a lot of love from the people on the streets more than religion love,
Mm.
church love,
Wow.
the community love. I've gotten, and I have to say this, everything we've been taught about the church love, community love didn't happen with me. And I can never look past people on the streets again different. I have to look at everything different from what I was taught. I was taught that the community church protects you. These streets protected me.
Mm.
When everybody exiled me, the streets accepted me in.
Wow.
You good over here, Spencer. You good over here. You can stand with us.
Mm.
When I couldn't
And I
even
think
go to a place of worship, because when I did go to a few places, that, you know what they said? This and that, this and that, brought it up right when I'm there. You won't believe how many times I went to church and they bring my situation up and they don't even know who I am.
right,
And I was just like, Lord Jesus, what is going on?
Right.
I can't believe you got me here with this. And he taught me something. He's like, I'm not into some of these churches, Spencer. I'm
Wow.
not there. I'm
Right.
I'm in these streets.
exactly.
I could be found in the streets too, right?
I'm in
Yeah.
these
Yeah,
streets. If you
Mhm.
want to find me, you need to have a relationship with me, but go in these streets and figure out who I'm really with. Because you don't see it with all this was going on now. You just see a whole lot of business going on. And
Mm.
I just God is just telling me he's gonna come back and flip over these tables in these churches, man. He's
Right.
flipping over these tables, man. He's gonna
Right.
come. It may be quickly, it may take a long time, but he's flipping tables over, man. He's not happy with what's going on in this religion world. So,
Right.
but
for
beyond that,
sure.
Ed Haynes, he has been a big brother. And then one time I said, you know what, Ed, I've written and rewritten my book. I need somebody to come in and bless me with
Mhm.
a black standpoint. I want to speak to the black audience with this book. And Jay West was called, one phone call. The first time I was like, love, let me see her views. Let me see who's following her. Let me see all this.
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm good. I'm good. I just do it on my own.
Yeah.
A year later, the same call happened. And I said, you know what? Jay West is still here. She's still wanting the task at hand.
Mhm.
And she came in and just did her thing, man. She helped me finish this testimony of mine, and
Mhm.
she help bring everything together. And that's how we met, man. We met on assignment.
Right.
She
Right.
she was she was open to help, and I was open to receive help, and that's how we met. And now she is my publicist. She's a CEO of Cleanup Media, and she's given me the ability to start my own King Up Media, which we're going to start doing. What, Jay West?
Yeah. Well, we're starting out with paraphernalia, but let me go back, Spencer, because you missed out on a little bit of the story. So we did meet through a mutual friend who is also my business partner, Mr. Ed Haynes. Shout out to Ed. We love you. We appreciate you. So the first time I talked to Spencer, we were on the phone, and I just felt, you believe in energy, right, Maurice? You believe in the connection, right? So
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
phone, I can feel Spencer's energy. I can feel the connection. So we decided to meet in person just to get a more well-rounded interaction, just to feel each other out. So we met for our lunch. And man, I'm gonna tell you, listening to just connecting with him from when I embraced him, I knew this was my assignment. I understood it. I understood the purpose, right? Mr. Haynes was the connector, but this is my assignment. So when we talked, we sat down, we talked, we had a nice dinner, but the conversation was so amazing because I wasn't really familiar with the story in its entirety. Of course, living in Miami, Florida, we heard little snippets and bits and pieces here via the media, but to hear the full rounded story of what was happening, it was just heartbreaking, heart wrenching. However, what was the beautiful part of it was to see him overcoming, to see him healing, to see him on the journey of success and building his empire, right? Outside of what he's experienced. So that's why I said, you know what? I'm going to help him write this book. This book has to be brought to life. It has to be talked about. This is a hard conversation that we need to bring to the forefront. And now we're seeing it happening again. So now after 13 years, the book is finally here. We released it like 3 weeks ago, and we're on this campaign trail. And it's not about the book sales. It's not about that at all. And I want people to understand that it's about the message. It's about the impact. It's time for the community to heal because I'm gonna tell you, Maurice, when we're betrayed by people in power, by men in power, even women in power, it affects everybody, not just the victims. Of course, that's the direct trauma is experienced by the victim. However, the community as a whole is impacted. So the community, it's time for the community to heal. So a part of that healing process is the book, and is the to help people to understand you're not alone, and to give the victims and the survivors a voice. You understand? Because like Spencer talked about a few minutes ago, he was shunned by those in the church. He was shunned when he went there to seek guidance, to seek support. It was like, oh, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. And God sent him the people that was on the street. All right. So yeah. So with that being said, so we started Queen Up and King Up. So we're starting with like paraphernalia right now. So King Up and Queen Up, Maurice, it's about stand up, pray up, listen up, marry up, boss up, stay up. You understand? Everything is on another level because there's levels to this. Okay. So hence Queen Up Media. So we're going to be giving away on this show right now. The first person to buy a book, man, we're going to give 2 hoodies out. I have on the t-shirt Queen Up, again, about levels. So we're giving away 2 hoodies. Spencer is the partner on the King Up aspect. So we have hoodies. We're going to give away a King Up hoodie and a Queen Up hoodie to the first people that can show us that they purchased the book in your feed. So we're giving that away. All they have to pay for is shipping and handling. And we're also going to be offering a support group. So Spencer and I, we're starting a support group with inclusive of therapists. So we have a connection with therapists if you need therapy. So just email me at queenupmedia@gmail.com. And we want to get you to this on this email list. And you're going to be a part of our support group. So we're starting that right now. We're announcing, this is our first announcement, Maurice. So you heard it here. You're the first person that we're telling about the support group. And we're excited to launch this.
Well, I got a book. Can I get a sweatshirt?
Well, let's talk about it.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. It's so funny, man.
Can I get a?
Quit.
Oh, I did that wrong.
Of course you're gonna get a hoodie, my brother.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I can finish your words, my brother. I know what you're asking for.
Where's the hoodie,
told
Spencer?
me.
I gave you the hoodie. So Spencer's just seen the hoodie too. Let me see the hoodie, Spencer. Where the hoodie that I gave you? Did you bring it?
No, I didn't bring it. It's okay. It's okay. I didn't bring it because I wanted to wear my tie. She told me to wear the hoodie. I said, listen. Hey, listen.
I want to show them the gift.
Our voices are sharper than a 2-headed sword. We saying King Up Media will get way more recognition than wearing it. Trust me. We are speaking the truth. We are talking in the air.
King Up Apparel, a conglomerate of Queen Up Media. So it's all
exactly.
Good.
We doing our thing. Look, therapy. That means when you let us know what's going on, first you call the cops. Don't just call us.
Right.
But what we want to do is pray and give you what you need to heal.
Right.
That's what our message is healing, 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 and forgiveness, guys. We are sick of people not standing up for what's going on, people hiding, voiceless, dying with things with pain. You know, there's so many people who passed away. Think about your aunties and uncles that things may have happened to them and they just closed up and never exposed nothing to you. Wow. My mom, which is a loving mother, and I hate to bring the story up, but I always bring the story up to empower. Yes. She told me something happened to her recently when she was a kid, my mom. Wow. And for her to tell me that, I said, Lord Jesus, she never told me, she never told anyone. But for her to have a son who is open and showing the how to get to the freedom point, like you said, Mo, you see freedom in this face, and I feel freedom for the first time in a long time. And for her to come to me and say things happen to me, and I see my son showing me how to feel better about those things. And so many people, you won't believe, so many people, over 100, in the last 12 years have come to me via DM, via text messages, via divine appointment, and said, Spencer, this happened to me too when I was young. This happened to me. This happened to me. And I'll say, you know what?